Alright, so when it comes to this side of the whole workspace of Adobe Photoshop, we have the various tools over here, starting from the move tool to the zoom tool. Okay, so in this tutorial I'll be taking about 5 of them, since I don't want to keep this video very long and boring. So let's start with the move tool. In the previous video we learned how to open new documents or pictures. So we open any document or picture in Photoshop and we try to make use of them. If you quite remember, in the previous video I told you, if you have a picture like this and you see this lock over it, it indicates that the layer has been locked partially. So before you can work on it, you have to unlock it. So you double click on it and then you click OK to turn it into a layer. Now, taking the move tool. The move tool basically means that you are moving the layer or the layer that you've selected to a different place, or you want to reposition it. That is to say that you right click and hold on it and you can drag it anywhere that you want to take it to. Now we're going to make use of a step back and then the Ctrl plus Alt plus Z to undo anything that we don't want. So let's check something here. If I have 2 layers like this and I want to move the first layer, that is the layer 0 copy, to this side, so I can just hold and drag it to this side. But what if I have so many layers and I can't just select from? You just right click and the layers available will show. So if I select this one, it means that I'm working on this particular layer, so I can move it down. Since this one is on top, you can see it clearly. So in this same video you can have different layers or something like that. So that is what basically the move tool does. It allows you to move any layer to any place of your choice. Now let me take this particular tools over here. We have the rectangular marker tool straight down to the single column marker tool. What this also does basically is that it allows you to make a selection, or selection of any part of the layer that you're working on. Let's check something here. If I make a selection at this particular side, it means that anything that I apply on this layer will affect the part that I've selected only. So let me hit on delete on my keyboard and it will delete this part only. That is, if I'm to brush this particular layer, it is going to affect this selected area only. So that is what the rectangular marker tool also do. Now the elliptical marker tool, it's also about selection. So you can select something. If I want, let's say, the head only, I can select this part and place it here, and if I cut it out, you can see that I have the head over here and I have the main body also over here. So that is basically what the selection, these tools also do. So you can make use of the single column, you can try your hands on them and you will enjoy using it. Now I want to talk about these tools over here. That is the lasso tool and the polygonal lasso tool and other stuff. But then I would like to open another image. Alright, so I have this image over here and I've selected my lasso tool. The lasso tool in a way or two works with this selection tool up here. So if I left click and go around like this, I'm making a selection. At the moment I take it to this point, the initial point, it will create a selection for me. So that one too, if I make a cut of it, you can see that I have 2 different layers over here. So that is what the lasso tool actually. So if you want to make a selection at this area only, you can do that with the lasso tool. Now let me take the polygonal lasso tool. The polygonal lasso tool basically works, it's the same way with the lasso tool, but they have a slight difference. That is to say that if I choose the polygonal lasso tool, I can make selection, alright, but then if I click in on any part of this one, unless I click again, it will not stop. Let's take for instance, I click like this and then I'll be dragging it. It won't stop until I left click again like this. So if I select this area, only this area, if I delete it, you can see that it is gone. So basically, I'm fond of using this to make selection around pictures. So you can see, if I start from this point until I click where I want it to stop, it will keep going. And if I select something like this, and then I will take it back to the initial point, and then I will delete it. So you can use this polygonal lasso tool in cutting off your pictures, removing backgrounds in Photoshop and other stuff. So let me go back, and then when the selection has been made, what I've been using to deselect is the Control D, or you can go to select and you find deselect here. That is Control D over here. If you don't deselect and you choose any other tool, it will work on the selected part only. Remember, I told you that. So anytime you are done with a selection, a particular selection, you just have to press Control D and it will deselect it. Alright, so the last one is the magnetic lasso tool. The magnetic lasso tool works very perfect if you have a picture like what I have on my screen right now. That is to say, if I click on this part, it will take all the magnetic parts. So I'm just moving around like this, and it's selecting, you see, it's selecting all the parts. Since the background is plain white, it attracts the plain background, and then it will just select until you are fed up and you decide to bring it to the initial point, and then you can delete that one. So you can also use that one for cutting out images or removing backgrounds. If you have a very sharp picture like this one and the background is just one or plain. So let me go back, and that is it for these tools. Now I'm talking about the quick selection and the magic wand selection. So all these are selection tools that you can, if you take the quick selection tool, it allows you to make a quick selection. So you just left click and then you take it around where you want the selection to be made. That one also works perfectly well if you have a plain background and a very sharp image like this. So all these parts are selected, and if I'm apply anything on this layer, it will affect only the selected area. The magic wand tool also allows you to select a particular color from a document or a picture. So this background is very plain and white. If I just right click on it, it will select all the whites in the image for me. Again, let me click something like here. So you see, it has selected all the colors, the color that I chose, all the colors on the face. It has selected it for me. If I left click on this side, it will select all the blues or the exact place that I selected. It will select all of it for me. So that is how the magic wand tool also works. Now the last thing I'm talking about for the day is the crop tool. We have the perspective and slide tool, but for the meantime, since this is beginner's tutorial, I'll talk about the crop tool only. The crop tool allows you to crop a part of your image. For instance, I have this whole image, but I don't want this part, the upper part, sorry. I don't want it, so I will just drag it down. And if I want to drag here up to the whites on the edges, I don't want it, so I'll just drag them, and then I'll just drag this side also. If you want it this way, you can go ahead and then you confirm it from here, and then you can see that your image has been cropped. Better still, if you select your crop tool and you have the dimensions in your head, you can just input the dimensions, say 8 by 8, and then you click OK and it will crop for you, something just like this. So that is how the various tools. So in this tutorial I talked about the move tool up to the crop tool. In the next tutorial I'll be talking about the eyedropper tool, where you can use to make a few selection or choose a particular color in your works. So thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope you like and subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page, and then make comments, ask questions, anything that you don't understand you can comment in the comment box below and I'll answer you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.